So through this exercise, I helped this person understand, like going through the cycle and the program, I helped them understand the value that they bring into the industry, into their company. This designer ended up going and talking with other companies and ended up doubling.
What is next level UX, just for the sake of our audience to understand what is the platform about, and when did you decide to do this?
It's a totally fair question. Uh, it's a great place to start, and it's super near and dear to my heart. So thanks for the question and thanks for the opening. Really glad to be here. The the initial like passion and drive that really just told me in my heart when I wanted to do this was about a year into my work at Facebook. And so I was working in Facebook. I was working on an internal product that was designed to really help all the Facebookers in the company be more successful and grow.
Okay.
And I also, at that opportunity, I got to just get a whole nother view of the things that I liked, the things that I didn't like in the bigger scheme of things in product and design development. And at that time, I had built up a lot of experience and knowledge from working, at LinkedIn, at Lynda, and Vision. And I just like had so much to tell, so many stories that I wanted to share. And I realized at the point, like if I continued working in like a bigger corporation, it was going to be harder for me to coach and to tell stories and to do this because like, I'm like starting a new business and I'm going to be, probably building and making and having different revenue streams. And I'm still like a designer on this team. And I just started getting this feeling that like, I needed to start this. I needed to build this. This was like a gap from, everybody, like a lot of the designers in industry that I was working on. I felt like there was a gap where everybody, and I'm saying it like it kind of like a blanket statement, I felt like a lot of the programs out there were really focused on the design and product life cycle. Like, like this is the process you follow in product and design, and this is what you got to do in school. This is what you're teaching in workshops and trainings. And I got that in my ear, ringing in my ear so much. And I'm like, I want to teach a program that doesn't go after and solve teach you a process for how to solve design problems. I want to create a process or a program in a business that meets people where they're at and that helps them design their own process and their own rituals, their own habits around what they want to do in their life as a product designer or as a maker. And I want to meet them where they're at. And I'm going to teach them the core top 12 categories that they will engage with and experience for the rest of their life if they're a product or designer, creator, maker, engineer, product designer, whoever. And I at that point, it was like about a 3-year process and thinking through and testing it and trying it out and putting like designers through it, putting different levels through it, so it like wasn't just like a junior designers, it wasn't just senior designers, it wasn't just executive designers, it was
Right.
also engineers, or is also event planners, and teaching them the process and then working it through, polishing it up, and then really deploying it. And so the whole idea was to build a high performance product and design essential
Yeah.
playbook that helps creators and makers like find themselves, but also help them
Mhm.
kind of integrate these practices into their existing goals, ambitions, desires. And that's what next level UX is all about. Mhm.
But you used the word UX, and you also said I want to build this for engineers. So I know UX can be for everyone, but why did you choose this name like next level UX and then
Yeah.
also go to the directions of engineers and other people?
Right. So traditionally, there's this whole debate around like UX and UI and what the difference is, and all this nonsense. I look at UX as like it's user experience, but user experience is like it can be for anything, and it can be for any walk of life. It can be for, the what's the user experience for or what's the next level user experience for where I'm currently at, and what could be better, what could be 10x better, what could be 100 times better.
Right.
And everybody's at different levels. So one thing I learned at Envision was like, all these companies, like we were doing design maturity assessments, and all these companies are so vastly different. But what we did learn
Mhm.
was that teams that did like these sorts of practices, that they did, you know, like there was a design maturity assessment that went out, and you can go back and you can Google it on Envision's blog, inside the design blog, and learn about what those practices are for different teams, and like what were the best teams in the world doing, and
Mhm.
what were they practicing, and what types of things, and they either had a high maturity or a low maturity for, you know, their design maturity. And what I learned about that was like, that doesn't really help somebody that's just starting out, like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really help if the team, if the company doesn't value design, or it doesn't really help if the company is not going to practice the things that like all the gurus out there teaching. You know, you have so many incredible teachers out there, but the thing is, if your company's not going to integrate these new things, then you're just left there like, I know this is going to work, but my team's not going to let me try it or practice it. I feel like that's a major like backwards way of fixing problems. So
Mhm.
like I was like, okay, well, let's help build maturity, design maturity and product maturity and just awareness at the individual level, and help support them on these things, and then let them level up, and get to their next level user experience. And that could be anybody, any practice. Like I put my mom through it, I put my my in-laws through it, I put my wife, my son through it, I've put like event planners, like I was saying, engineers through it. Like um but it takes an individual that really wants to go in like introspective, and ask them really difficult questions about themselves, like what they want, what they desire. And I can go through the topics, and but it's like it's like all of us have another level. And I named it next level UX because I'm like, I want people to find their next level.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be another level. Like even when you get to the executive level, like I never thought I'd be like on the executive team like this early in my career. I'm a head of product and design. I'm also a founder. Like I it just, once you get there, it doesn't really matter like what your title is. Like you
Yeah.
have another level of mastery that you can get to if you do want to pursue that. And like not everybody wants to pursue that, which is fine.
Yeah.
But if for people that want to pursue another level, this program is what I designed a program that I believe can help them do that and achieve that.
I think that's very so it's very exciting and makes me curious to know that you actually tested this out with your mom and your family. But but you also said that maybe the team is not ready, or you spoke something about team and the team is not ready about that, and they're not listening to me. And you said, okay, this is also for individuals. So individual go through the process.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting to me to know that that is it me who has to change, or I should make my team go through this program,
Yeah,
or
so it's I think it's counterproductive to try to imagine that your whole team is going to change, or to, you know, to listening to your ideas, or to like practicing a pretty extensive framework. Like it's not, unless you have a lot of buy-in in the organization, that's not going to necessarily happen. Like what I've seen a lot of times is like, oh, we're going to introduce this new workflow or this new process in a company and team, and then everybody's like just, they have hives and they're like so angry that they have to try this new thing
yeah.
because it disrupts their flow and their rhythm and their, you know, whatever they're doing. So I wouldn't go about that unless a team is in trouble, and unless a team is all over the place and they need structure to help them. Oh yeah, our team is having fights every week. They're unclear about their roles and responsibilities. They don't have empathy for each other. Like if there's like a team that's struggling like that, then that's like intervention time. Like let's go, let's get design transformation. Let's get a coach. Let's help them
Mhm.
reflect what's going on and help them move through that and work
Right.
through those challenges. The individual part of this, Tejas, is like, the individual part is like there are little things that you can do, little
Mhm.
things that you can do to bring more awareness, clarity, um, design clarity to your team through little tiny adjustments. And you don't have to change, like, you don't have to change everything in your organization to have impacts.
Right.
There are little things that you can do, but those little things you will learn over time. You don't have to try to, like, once you learn some of these things, you don't just be like, I'm going to implement this system and it's going to change the world or change the company. What you need to do is first understand the systems that exist in your company and understand that there's ways to work with them, and then maybe iterate on them as you go, just like we would iterate on a product experience that we ship and we're like, it's okay, it's getting better, it's going to get great, it's going to get awesome, it's going to get excellent. Like, we have flow of how we increase the quality of our products. I think the same thing happens with us as creators, as makers. And if we can identify first, like, what's the most important things to focus on for me so I can sustain this career, that's the most important part to start. Then we build on that and we teach and build around you. And then you start to have a little bit more influence. You have a little bit more courage to approach new things. Then you might end up having the influence for your team to implement new practices, like, new routines or rituals that serve the product, serve the company. But you can't, like, you have to take that in a very paced way, and don't try to, like, solve all the problems right away. You need to first understand them. You need to show empathy for them. You need to acknowledge them. And then you need to start building allies and partnerships with your team. And then you would work on all those things. But I think it's important to start with yourself, because you're the energy, you're the driver of who what you're doing every day.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of, like, feel satisfied, fulfilled, and encouraged about, like, what it is that you're even doing every day there and why you're there, so that you can show up better for your team and and start working on those other things. So I hope that clarifies that.
Yeah. So that like makes me ask you this question, like, what exactly are you covering under Next Level UX? Because I saw there are like 4 modules on the platform which says like Next Level UX, mapping to learn, action planning, clarity builder. So can you give some little gist about a little bit about all these sections? Like, what are they?
Yeah. So when I was transitioning out of Facebook, I was like, okay, well, what are the 3 offerings that I can create, as an entrepreneur, as a co-founder, or as a founder? And the first one was like, okay, well, I'm going to need to be able to teach this framework. And this framework has 12 categories. I'll go through those in a second, but that's Next Level UX Pro. That's basically, like, my offering is like a year of training, and I have a year of training already in there, 12 weeks or 12 months. So you could literally every month work on one of these categories and topics. And then you could ask me questions, you could practice it. And then over the full year, you would go through these 12 topics. And these topics would give you a very holistic approach to how to understand the world of product and the world of design and yourself. And then once you go through it, you'll even realize, like, you could go back through it again and realize, oh, my clarities are different. My goals are different. How I plan things is different, because now I have more responsibilities. My approach is going to be a little bit different. How I have productivity this year is maybe different from the next year, because I just had a year of skill development. I just had a year of shipping new products. I just had a year of, new things that I had to do that I've never done before. I'm building more awareness as I grow in my career. So Next Level UX Pro is kind of like the yearly subscription. And I put it as a yearly subscription because you gotta like in coaching and development, like, you gotta put some meat in the game so that you feel like you're going to show up and do the content. Like, if it was just free and everybody would just join, they might not like follow through the entire content. They might just be like, and I value this training so much, and I value it so much because I've spent years on it. And I think so that's why the Next Level UX Pro is what it is. But there's the other 2 ones that you mentioned, action planning and mapping to learn. These are the other 2 categories that I feel like were, like, for all the teams that I worked on, were the biggest struggling points for across the industry. One was like systems mapping, systems design, understanding how to break down complex systems. And every project I've ever worked on, I needed to build a map. I needed to understand what the heck, how it works, and how was I going to make it better, and how was I going to like explain it to an engineer, or how was I going to explain it to a product manager. So I think it's like one of those skills that you could slice and dice it in so many different ways. But this is an approach where I map out 3 different projects, 3 really unique projects, and I show that you can map pretty much anything, and you can break it down. You can break down its complexity so that you can start building better, smarter products, through understanding the opportunities in your product, understanding the problems in your product, understanding the strategies that you need to form after you've identified your problems and opportunities. How do you build strategies from that? Okay, now that you have strategies, how do you present those strategies? Okay, now that you present those strategies, how do you start executing a project plan so that you can go in and start attacking these things and start learning? And that's why it's called mapping to learn. And then the action planning part, Tejas, is like, okay, great. You map things out. You're an individual contributor. Now you have to plan your time, your work, your priorities, your life priorities, everything that you got going on. And I've seen like just people really badly struggle with this, or don't even create plans at all and just ask the project manager or the product manager, what do I need to do this week? And that is so not the way to go about this, because you end up taking like 3 to 4 times the amount of time that it really should take you to go and execute an idea concept and then get it up in front of people and start learning about it. And so action planning is just like a basic skill of how to do quarterly, weekly, and daily planning.
So moving on to this platform, okay. So when I was looking into this platform, I had this one question, that why a new platform? But then I realized that I'm talking to Drew, who has worked in Lynda, who has worked in LinkedIn. Like, he has so much experience in e-learning. He's already heading design at Growth Day. There has to be something different, some reason behind why a new platform as Next Level UX. Why not use the existing platforms which we already have for e-learning? What's different with?
Well, you know what? This is like kind of a content creator ecosystem that the world is shifting to. The same thing with like, you have a YouTube show.
Yeah.
There's like all these self-created platforms like Kajabi, like Teachable, like Circle.so. Like there's all these platforms for experts to come in and teach their content.
Right.
The problem with like a masterclass.com, it's for literally the world's like most famous people, and they're teaching these master classes on things to get you inspired, highly produced content. It costs a lot more to get those lessons and teaching from a distribution and a product creation. Like, it's expensive to run a masterclass.com. Lynda.com, LinkedIn Learning, I still teach and coach, and I try to do at least a course a year in there. But it is a lot of following in their guidelines and of following in their frameworks and following and it's mixed in with another 20,000 videos.
Right.
Like, it's great. And I encourage people to, if they've never like learned that way, to do it. It's awesome. And the content in there is amazing. And then the same thing for like, just like Skillshare and these other platforms. I think this is the future. Like all these, there's going to be a lot of teachers. So I think it's really important to, to follow and learn from a lot of different people, and to learn from a lot of different platforms and different things. So I'm using Kajabi to serve my Next Level UX platform, because it allows me to send out emails. It allows me to track, I have a CRM, so I can get to know my customers. It allows me to create a series of products and services that I can basically spin up. If I needed to spin up in a day, I could do it. And that would allow me to serve my community, serve the people I want to help, or serve the people that need it. And there's they can download a Kajabi app on their phone and watch my courses from Next Level UX on the go if they wanted to. And I would love to have a native app, but I'm not an engineer, so I am not building that. That's not like a necessity at the moment. It could be in like a couple years where I build an app and serve all the content through this, and Apple TV and Roku and all these other cool platforms.
Right.
which I'll get to. I'll get to it. But right now it's about the content and building the network and helping people.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 years in. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. Like I'm not going to just stop teaching, and this is like what I want to do.
Mhm.
And so it's like slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
I'm like no rush to build like a crazy huge platform. I'm doing that with Growth Day, and that's amazing. I love that. We have a 60-person team. We're building an incredible learning and personal development, this personal development platform. Next Level UX is about design. It's about design and product evolution, like helping people become better makers. And I also want to support the youth creators that are coming up and trying to be better at this. And I'm
Mhm.
going to give them tools and resources to be able to do that with this program and this platform. So I mean, it's like I want to encourage more creators to create things. And even I saw today one of the influencers that I worked with at Envision
Mhm.
just stated today that he was going to, I won't drop his name because I don't want to like call him out or anything, but he decided today that he was going to not go in house anymore, and he was going to like basically go out on his own
Mhm.
and create his own thing. And that's going to come out in a lot of different ways, but I know how hard it is to do that, like
Yeah.
going out on yourself and creating something new.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you just want to teach the things that you feel like you need to teach, and you don't want to be told like what to teach. You teach the things that you think are going to, that you've had so much passion and success for, and you just want to share it with the world. Same thing with what you're doing with your show.
Yeah.
It's like you want to share more stories,
Yeah.
and you're doing it through YouTube so that you don't have somebody telling you it has to be this certain way in order to ship it. You can ship it whenever you upload that video and
Yeah.
hit publish.
Right. I'm so excited. Like if you're going to do some kind of module on content creators.
I mean, dude, I would love to make, because there's actually like even the kids that I was teaching yesterday, or yeah, it was actually yesterday at my son's school. They were, I had 3 new, and it cycles through because we change the topics every week.
Mhm.
But I'm doing workshops at his Agile Learning Center school. And yesterday's topic was clarity, and it was also a crash course in design. So instead of like talking about like the end-to-end design process as an adult, like I broke it down into 4 easy steps. But I also, they're all wanting to be content creators on YouTube. So I broke it down and applied those 4 things. Oh, it just froze for a second. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. I'm back. I broke it down into 4 easy steps that are tied to content creators. And like, oh, map, you need a map, you need to design, you need to execute, and then you need to evaluate, measure, and see and define what success looks like.
Right.
So it's like, there's so many different ways to slice it, but you got to meet people where they're at. And that's what I was saying, with why I have this framework. It's like you got to meet people where they're at. Like you're
Yeah.
starting a new big awesome, you have a big vision for this. Like you don't have to create it. You don't have to act or pretend that you have like 100, or you have like millions and millions of subscribers right now. You just need to build the purpose and bring that purpose into every one of your videos right now, and just create consistently.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then you'll start to learn these routines, these content rhythms, the systems that you need to really like, just to make it fun and to make it creative every week. You bring value and service to the world, and that's beautiful. Boom.
That makes me think like, can you share like one moving feedback you got, like from one of your student, or something really amazing happened to them after going through this course?
Oh my
Something.
gosh, yeah. I'm gonna give you 2, and I won't call out their names because like,
Yeah, sure.
because when in coaching, like people want to be anonymous
Yeah.
because they don't like, well, first, like there's a stigma around coaching because like in the 80s and 90s, there was coaches that would like promise they're going to make you millions of dollars, and they would like, it was just kind of a bad stigma. And then I didn't want to touch the coaching space because of that. But then I started learning more, and then Brendan Burchard, the CEO and founder of Growth Day, I learned so much from him around like morals, values with the coaching industry. And so like, I'll just say that about that. Like there's a lot of kind of like get rich quick kind of energy and vibe. So what I was going to say about this is the two really huge success stories. One was this designer was making about 60K, and this designer was like kind of new in the industry. And my goal was to help raise the value that this designer thought. They didn't really think that they had the amount of value that they really had. They were the only designer, or there's one other designer, principal designer in their org. But this designer was just like going through and doing so much work, redesigning all these and that was a huge responsibility to redesign like a whole platform. And this designer's mapping out things and learning about how to build products from 0 to 1. And they didn't realize like how valuable the work that they were doing, because it was the first job and they just were doing everything that they were being told to do. So through this exercise, I helped this person understand, like going through the cycle and the program, I helped them understand the value that they bring into the industry, into their company. This designer ended up going and talking with other companies and ended up doubling their salary to 130K, probably a little bit more, from like going from 60 to 130K in California, and really building the confidence and courage to know like how to ask for it, how to and then how to change the trajectory of their whole life in just a year, because they built more confidence in what they were doing. Like 60 to 120, 30K is like life-changing. And I remember when I went from like 80K to 150K, and I was just like, wow, like, wow, this is possible. And, you know, that happens. And it was an amazing thing. So now this designer has a lot more confidence, is working with a full team, knows what they want, and knows what the contribution they're having in their organization. And then also knows like a lot more about the systems in their company, so that they can get better and better and better every single week. And that is beautiful. That is like super success. I like love that, because they practice, they were aware, they raised their emotional maturity, and then they were able to start building more confidence in what they do every day. That's the first one. The second one that I would call out is, this is like a design executive, and this design executive is working a lot more across, like they work in agencies, so they work with a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
And that's a really tough thing to do as a leader. Like when you have to work with a lot of different teams, you have different roles, different responsibilities, different needs across all the different organizations. So the systems part of the training that I was giving them around, like, it's the middle section, is training map number 2, where we talk about design energy, design clarity, design productivity, and design impact. These help you kind of understand how to like ramp up and build momentum inside of what you do, but also what your team does. So they were able to build new performance management systems for their designers and their people that they manage, so that their whole team leveled up. And when you can get your whole team to level up because you're in a leadership position, and you can start empowering them to learn and to grow and to do the things that they care about, you can see so much more advancement, and like so much more advancement in the projects and work that you do. And this design executive ended up winning an award in their company, like the most distinguished award in their company, because they were thinking not just about like getting things done, but they were thinking about how they elevate their people. And people management and people performance is like the next tier of design leadership, because it's not about just like shipping great products. It's about helping people grow and helping people like be the best version of themselves. So I like love that story. Oh my gosh. And then, you know, and it's like a stepping stone for them, because they'll be able to do this with any team that they coach or any team that they manage now. And they understand like how to kind of deconstruct the problems and almost be a better coach themselves for all the people they manage. So that was a really cool story.
So you spoke about a design executive. You also spoke about a young designer who's like 60K, right? So if I'm using your platform, where should I start? Like as a young designer, which is the course I should start with? Or if I'm a design executive, where should I start? Like,
this is the beauty of the program, because I didn't want to create a program that's like separated and kind of put people in different like categories. That doesn't like really work for me. So next level UX Pro, like just that subscription for the
Mhm.
whole year, and then getting access to ask questions, go through the homework, get support and help.
Mhm.
That works for any level. It's pretty cool. It just works for any level, because when you go through, and I'll name them off really quick. Okay, there's 3 training maps. In training map number 1, you got clarity, goals,
Mhm.
action planning, and practice. Okay, that's training map number 1. These are going to help any professional who has never who has, maybe it's common sense. Yeah, I know, Drew, I need goals, I need planning, I need practice. But when you put it in a structure and you give yourself homework and you give yourself the ability to reflect about the things that you're doing, and then also take into account like all the stuff that I'm going to teach you, you start to see like there's a lot of congruence and flow between these 4 things.
Mhm.
And then when you start doing it, you'll start seeing, oh my gosh, like I could do this a lot better. And then you get that training map number 1, foundations. It's like the foundation. The training map number 2 is about building momentum off of what you just did. So it's like, cool, you got goals, you got action planning, you got practice. Now let's build up the momentum, because these things are going to help your team be more pro, be more
Mhm.
effective, be more efficient, be more like just build momentum. Design energy, which is all about like helping you understand your flow as a creative, making sure that you're not like, oh, I just got another day of this, I have no idea why I'm doing this work, this is terrible, like I don't want to do this, or I have this really tough flow of getting stuff done, I keep struggling with meeting my deadlines. Why
Mhm.
is that? Design energy can help you with that. Design clarity is like all about helping. That's the sixth one. We're in training map number 2. Design energy, design clarity, design productivity, and design impact. So design clarity is about helping your engineers, your product managers, yourself, your team, your designers understand what it is you're building, why are you building it, and how are they a part of that process? How are they helping you do this? Design clarity, right? I at Facebook, I had this Wednesday design clarity days, which is like, you got questions about what we're building, why we're building it. This is that magical facilitated sync that we're going to have to build design clarity for everybody. It's a really important topic. Super duper fun. Design productivity, which is the next one. This is like building systems, your craftsmanship, understanding velocity management. And these are like really important parts of, okay, well, why am I slow on things? Or how do I speed things up? I want to go slower. Okay, you can go slower, that's fine. But like, if you go slower, you still got to know that these things are going to be getting asked by your teammates. And these, you just can't like just leave your gap, just like if you're playing sports, if you're playing football, you don't want to leave a hole open, or else you'll get your quarterback will get crushed. Or if you're playing baseball and you don't have a first baseman, oh no, like the guy is just gonna keep running around the base. Or if you're just playing basketball and your point guard just says, I'm gonna sit down for a little bit, like you're in trouble. Like Steph Curry would not appreciate that. So you got all these things, design productivity, and then design impact, which is the last part of training map number 2. That's like understanding how to benchmark, how to continuously learn,
Mhm.
how to like understand your design and product awareness, like what makes the business money.
Mhm.
And like, this is more business awareness. And a lot of designers don't ever get into the business of design, because their product manager is like, you don't need to worry about that. Just design this thing. But no, you have to ask questions. You have to understand how the business makes money, and then get into that cycle of learning, so that you make sure that you're building and designing things that actually do move the needle for the business.
Right.
Okay, you follow me so far? I know this is a lot, but this is like years and years of studying and years of practice. So the last training map is training map number 3, which is about purpose, which is about influence and courage, which is about tools, people, and tactics. And then the last one is reflection. So these are kind of like, you've gone through this, like, you've understood yourself, how you want to work, how you want to show up. You've gone through this cycle of how to understand your teams and how you're going to be practicing. And this last stage is like reconnecting everything to
Yeah.
why you do what you do with purpose. Like, why am I at this team? Why am I at this company? Why am I even here? Like, what do I want to do? And you don't have to figure all that out right away, but you got to understand how to figure it out and what questions can you ask to do that. Influence is encourage as a professional in this field. You got to communicate. You got to like build confidence in how you show up for your team. And that takes a lot of courage, and how to understand how to build that courage. You got to prepare. You got to build confidence. How do you build confidence? You prepare more. So you have to figure out what things you can do. Like when I was talking to you about asking those questions, like before meetings, after meetings, all those things, that's preparation. And that helps you build confidence when you show up for a session. And then the tools, people, and tactics is like another thing I learned a lot about at Envision, where like you see teams using like so many different tools, and then the tools are fragmented, right? Figma's really helped with this, right? At getting everybody in one place. It's really amazing. But when tools are fragmented and everybody's like using email, Slack, iMessage, Google Hangouts, whatever, like everybody's communicating differently, it creates chaos. So you got to understand how to like ring that in, and how to like help the team know, like, okay, like let's use email only for this. Let's use chat only for this. Let's use this meeting to understand requirements. Let's not just like use Slack for requirements, for example. You know what I mean?
So in this course, is this only on demand, or I like I have the pleasure to meet you in like on the call, I can talk to you directly. Does the students also have this access where they can talk to you and
Yeah,
get
really good question. Obviously, like I'm running things and I'm moving things forward, so I made this an on-demand course, on-demand program, right? But once you get it, you'll have access to it for a whole year. And I continue adding to it like new bonus things. And I have like I have workshops every single Friday. So if you want access to me and you want to jump into some of my workshops, I host workshops on Growth Day, the platform. And those are an hour session, and they're called growth groups. And I just host those every single week for free. Like, so anybody can join those for free. But if you want one-on-one training, like I have to charge for one-on-one high performance coaching. And that when I do that, I take applications, and I want to see like who's really interested in jumping in and going full tilt boogie on these topics and categories, because I want to really create massive impact. And if if you have 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door, then I might not take you on as a client. But those are 12 to 16 week programs. So I would be like literally every week for an hour with you, working through the things that you're really challenged with or struggling with. And I would help coach you along that journey. That's like one-on-one coaching, which I do offer that. But it's not like I have to evaluate those, and I do them on a quarterly basis. But yeah.
That's big. I'm very excited about next year UX and the content you're going to bring about in the future and also now. I think also the content you're putting on Instagram has been amazing. The small snippets of explosive information is like changes things. Like I get a lot to learn from you on your Instagram, and I would such highly recommend all the people watching this to follow Drew on Instagram and watch his content there. It's free. Okay, next level UX you have to pay, and it's more valuable content there. But if you want to take like little advices, follow him on Instagram. But before we end, I want to ask you like one final question. Is there any new updates, any new events you're going to speak, any new things you are going to bring in next level UX, anything you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, a couple of the things that I've put into my content rhythm in the last couple months that I think are or like important right now for probably the audience to know is like every Sunday I'm doing a new YouTube video. And in this video, like the last one that I posted was literally a live workshop that I did where I was just teaching like the four elements that I was teaching my son's school. Literally the teacher came in and plopped down a camera right in front of us, and I just kept going. But it's like a super raw like interview in little workshop, and that's on YouTube. And then this upcoming Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to go through all my notes from like what people are asking for, what their questions are, and I do a really raw, fresh YouTube video. And then I try to do it like, based on content rhythms. I try to edit it and video and shoot it, everything in like an hour and a half.
Right.
And it's like, it's something that I want to do to stay relevant with things that are happening right now. I could do like batch recording and stuff and edit it and put it out, but I have right now I have a really big ambition to just like make it super relevant to what's going on right now in the industry and make content around that. So Sundays I'm posting new videos. I'm going to be at the Front Utah conference, and this is a conference where I'm going to be teaching a lot of this frameworks and these practices live for a full daggone day. Like, whoa, like a full day live workshop. That's going to be November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in Utah. So go to frontutah.com and you can go check that out. And I'm also doing some behind the scenes volleys. If you've ever heard of the Volley app, have you heard of the Volley app?
Yeah, I do. I have heard about it.
Okay, so we have a Volley channel. So anybody that subscribes and signs up, they're getting behind the scenes videos from me on a weekly basis that talk about it. So talk about what we're going to be training on, and they can ask me anything inside there just for these 2-3 months that the conference is up. So if you do want like to go all in on some training, like you could sign up for that and then you get access to me, or you can go to nextlevelux.me and sign up for that. So yeah, you called out. Instagram has been a really fun, like I'm trying a new model where, I do 90-second video to teach a really important practice that has been life-changing to me. And I'll stick to those life-changing things. Yeah. And then we have the Sunday YouTube channel that comes out. If you want to join my Friday growth groups, like I did one today, you can see my posts on LinkedIn and just follow me on LinkedIn and see my posts. Those are free. Like you can ask me anything, and they're cool video. It's basically like a Zoom inside of our app of Growth Day. And I can explain Growth Day and help you learn how to use it as well inside that. And that's pretty much my content rhythm that I just shared every bit of it with you. So if anybody wants to join, I'd love to meet you. You can just join on those things.
Thank you, Drew, for sharing all this. We'll be putting all the links and description in the description box below. And we are also having a third episode. So stay tuned for that episode as well. It will be about high performance productivity methods for designers. So once again, thank you, Drew, for giving your time and doing this interview with us.
Thank you so much.